وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا في بث حي ومباشر عبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues.
Good morning and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor via Michigan.com, a digital business magazine serving the Arab American communities in Michigan. We provide business and real estate news, loan and lending information, support to small businesses, and much more. Visit us at Michigan.com. Thank you for being with us. Today is October 21st, Friday, October 21st, 2022. The month is almost gone. I can't believe it. The number here is 248-557-3300. Give us a call should you have a question or a comment in Arabic or in English. It's a beautiful, cool morning. They told us that the temperature is going to get in the 60s today, and we're going to have a great weekend. We look forward to it. It's really a great fall day. We wish you the best of health and wealth and happiness on this beautiful weekend, beautiful fall day. The midterm election is a few weeks away, maybe like 2 weeks away. It's on November 8th. We caught up with Secretary Benson to get an idea on the preparation for the election. We will later talk to Jim Barnacle from the FBI about the safety of elections, what we need to look for. And then we will preview the election with journalist John Mulcahy after that. Please, here's Secretary Benson with our discussion with her. Secretary Benson, thank you for being with us. We really appreciate it. You're taking time out of your busy schedule. There's a lot riding on this election. This is an incredible election. It's heating up. Are we ready for it?
Well, in Michigan, we are. We've had plans in place. I mean, one of the benefits of overcoming the challenges that we dealt with in 2020 is that we're ready for whatever 2022 may bring us. And we've been working this past year with law enforcement, with clerks, with the Attorney General's office, and with federal authorities to ensure no matter what could be thrown our way, that we're ready for it, and that we'll be able to assure voters that our procedures are secure, every valid vote will be counted, and that the results of the election will be an accurate reflection of the will of the people, whatever that may be.
Sounds good. What do we need to know as voters?
Well, citizens have options to vote. And right now, you can get your ballot from a clerk's office or request it to be mailed to you. And then once you have it, you can complete it and return it through the mail or in person at your local clerk's office or at a local drop box. The ballot must be received by 8 p.m. on election day in order to count, and you can track your ballot at michigan.gov/vote to ensure it was received on time. On top of that, if you want to instead choose to vote in person on election day, you can do that instead. And you can show up at your local precinct and vote anytime between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. on November 8th, and you can get the location of your local precinct at michigan.gov/vote.
Do we still need an ID to vote?
Yes, all the procedures that were in place in 2020 are in place again and continue to be. Every voter voting in person must show an ID or sign an affidavit affirming their identity, or if they vote ahead of time, you affirm your identity with your signature, both when you request the ballot and when you return it.
Absolutely. What kind of preparations have you done this year that you didn't do last year? I mean, last elections, I should say.
Well, one of the things that we're mindful of that we didn't fully anticipate in 2020 was the extent to which post-election challenges would be a significant need to prepare for. And so this time around, we are ready for shenanigans to occur in the certification process or for anyone to otherwise try to interfere with the will of the voters. Now that we have seen in 2020 just how far people would be willing to go to stop people's voice from coming to fruition, we're now ready for whatever tactics may be attempted again, and we're prepared to ensure that they're unsuccessful and that democracy prevails.
Absolutely. Do we know how many absentee ballots have been mailed out so far?
Yes, over 1.7 million absentee ballots have been requested in Michigan. That's twice nearly the number of total absentees that were cast in the 2018 midterm elections. So we are on track to see the highest turnout midterm election in our state's history, which is a great thing. We see enormous enthusiasm from people on both sides and people choosing to take advantage of their right to vote ahead of time through the absentee ballot process. And that's reflected in the large numbers of absentee ballot requests we've gotten.
Wonderful. Since I have you on, you are running for office this time. I just wanted to ask you, what have you learned, through your tenure, and why do you want to run again?
We've learned that results matter, and that really what every voter should expect from every elected official is that they've delivered on the promises they made when they first ran. And we've done that. We've completely transformed our customer service operation, eliminating long wait times in our office and ensuring that people can get in and out when they do visit a branch office within 20 minutes. We've doubled the number of transactions that are available online or in self-service stations like grocery stores around the state. And we've also ensured that even in high turnout elections held in the midst of the pandemic, voters can be assured their vote will count and our elections are secure.
Wonderful. Why should people vote for you?
Well, I've got the experience and also the determination to ensure we continue making government work better for everyone. We've done that to ensure that regardless of whether someone's a Republican, Democrat, or independent voter, they can be assured their vote will count, their voice will be heard, and that government will be accessible and service-oriented for everyone.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know?
Well, we want people to know that michigan.gov/vote is their web portal for all their voting needs. You can register to vote. You can request your ballot. You can find out where to vote in person, all at michigan.gov/vote. And if you see anything wrong on election day or have any concerns or questions, you can call our hotline 866-R-VOTE, OURVOTE, and report any incidents that cause concern or ask any questions you have. We're there to help make sure that no matter where you are or who you vote for, you are going to have your voice heard and your vote counted.
Our community, sometimes they don't vote as much, and we're trying to get the word out so people can vote. Any final words so we can entice more people to vote?
Your vote is your voice, and it's your power in our democracy. And if you do not have your voice heard and really ensure that you are a powerful voice in your community, then other people will make decisions on your behalf that will impact you. So whether it's access to clean water or good schools or safe environment and safe communities, all of it comes down to your decision to cast your vote for people who reflect your values, and then working to hold them accountable and ensure that they further your will, not their own agendas.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us, and good luck to you in the election.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain.
Live performances, concerts, music festivals, and hot jazz. Moments like these are made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. So let's work together to continue to be safe and protect each other. Keep those concerts going. Keep the togetherness going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. To find your vaccine and learn more, visit michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bonham, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, and we want to thank Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson for being with us this morning to help us with some information on the election. No doubt this is going to be every election is important, but this one seems to have a lot more attention, and hopefully it'll be a good election, and we encourage you to go out and vote. This is your vote is your voice, and it's very important that you do that. And at the same time, we want to make sure that everything is safe. So we asked our friends from the FBI to be with us to this morning to help us understand a little bit about safety. With us, Special Agent Jim Barnacle. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, glad to be here.
Absolutely. So what do we need to know?
Well, what you need to know is every U.S. citizen has a constitutional right to vote. And that right cannot be abridged based on account of race, color, previous conditions, servitude, sex, age. As long as you're 18 and over, you are allowed to vote. And as you just heard from the Secretary of State here in Michigan, everyone needs to register to vote with their municipal clerk. And once you do that, you have the right to vote. And so we encourage folks to do that.
What should we look for? Any sign of we need to things that I need to be aware of?
I think it is very rare in the United States, at least in modern times, to have people block access to voting. So at a voting booth, a polling station on the day of election, you should be able to walk into that voting booth, produce your ID, meet the state requirements to vote, and you should be able to cast your ballot. If folks are asking for additional paperwork, asking for you to take some kind of test and pass that test to vote, well, that might be a problem. That's likely voter suppression. Your ID is all you need. Be over the age of 18, and that's the main thing. We have not had, at least in the time I've been working in this space, we have not had many threats. And here in Michigan, I'm not aware of any threats at a polling place that has denied people the opportunity to vote.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, was there any issues in the last elections that prompted you to be more on alert this time, or just being precautious?
It's precaution, right? So here in the FBI, as you and your listeners are aware, there is no federal laws governing elections other than giving people the access to vote or the right to vote. Here in Michigan, the Secretary of State runs elections. The municipal clerks are where you cast your ballot and you register to vote. So what we do at the FBI is we work with partner agencies. So we work with the Michigan State Police, the Attorney General, the clerks, the Secretary of State, and our prosecuting attorneys for the federal level, the Eastern District of Michigan, and on the west side of Michigan, the Western District of Michigan. And so what we're looking for is if intelligence comes in that there may be voter suppression or there may be people blocking access to a polling place, we're going to share that information with local police departments, the state police departments, and the county and federal prosecutors. On election day, the state authorities are the place that would protect a polling place. It would not be the FBI. The federal government has no involvement in elections. So we're basically just the director of the FBI often says it's about people and partnerships. And so we're making sure we identify the right people at the state and at local levels that we need to talk to. And then we're partnering with those agencies that are an important part of the right to vote. And we're sharing information. And we do that before the vote, after the vote, and we do that in a myriad of issues.
Have you received any request from local agencies for information or for they need any assistance?
So in preparation for this election, we sit down with the federal and state agencies every week. So we do that on Wednesdays, and we share information. Fortunately, we have not had many issues come to light this year. It's been more a dialogue, questions, very similar to this conversation right now. Making sure everyone understands the law, making sure everyone understands which agency to contact on election day should there be issues. And that's where we are. What we have seen nationally is we've seen some text campaigns where folks are receiving text messages. And those text messages are a little bit deceiving on when election day is or when polls are open. And so that could be conceived as a voter suppression text message. So if those are being received by people in Michigan, we would want to know that and we would want to look at that. Another thing we're seeing, and this really has nothing to do with your right to vote, but bad guys are always looking for opportunities to steal people's money. They want to get money out of your pocket. So political action committees, which are allowed to raise money for candidates or issues. We're seeing scam political action committees, so scam PACs, where people are receiving solicitations to donate to this PAC, and that PAC is a scam, and therefore the bad guy, often located overseas, is just going to take your money, your hard-earned money, and they're going to steal it. So people should be on the lookout for PACs, PACs that they know and they trust. If they're soliciting you, make sure you do a little bit of research before you donate to them. We certainly encourage you to participate in that political process. And if you want to make donations, that's your money. You have the right to do it. Just be sure you're donating to a PAC that you know and recognize, and it's legitimate, because fraudsters are going to try to take advantage of this election season to steal money out of your pocket.
Absolutely, yeah. This is one of the biggest issue right now. The people calling you on the phone asking for money, whether it is utility or donations, or somebody called me, wanted donation money for some police association, and I can tell the call is from India or somewhere, and I said, okay, thank you, and I hang up the phone. This is a huge issue for everybody, and this has nothing to do with election. When did we allow people to call us on our cell phones?
I don't know
if this is your area.
It is not my area, but the mention you just mentioned, telemarketing, utilities calls and fundraisers. I get that on my cell phones too, right? We all have a work phone and a personal phone, and both of them, my auto insurance policy phone calls, my auto warranty phone calls, right? Those are scam phone calls. So if you are getting that phone call, and we're seeing our senior population losing a lot of money to that. So if you're getting those phone calls, they are criminal in nature, that it is a lie. These companies are not calling you on your phone to raise money. Be careful. As far as political calls, if you ever registered with a political action committee or made a contribution to a candidate and gave your cell phone, then those associations are allowed to contact you via cell phone. So, as an individual, we may give up our cell phone number very often and think nothing of it. And then years later, you may get a phone call, and some of those calls are legitimate.
Absolutely. And I encourage our listeners, if you get a call from anybody and you're not sure, call the number you have, not the number they call you on. It's always better that way. As a voter, if I suspect there's anything, who should I call? The local authorities or whom?
Yes, great question. So let me just give you a couple bullet points on how you as a citizen can protect your right to vote. So know when, where, and how you will vote. So know your polling place, know the date of the elections, know the time that the place is open. Seek out election information from trustworthy sources. So go online to the Secretary of State or your local municipal government, and an array of information will be posted there on when and where to vote. If you are and you suspect that you're a victim of an election crime, such as disinformation about the manner of voting, the time of voting, the place of voting, or someone is trying to suppress your vote, we would ask you to call the FBI.
Absolutely. So when we say suppress, meaning preventing you from voting, is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And, local authorities do a really good job of keeping supporters of candidates away from the door and others from, coming and intervening with people. This is really not a violation of somebody's rights, just violation of the rules. Should we report something like this or just ignore it and go vote? So
I would recommend that people do what makes them comfortable. As you know, the Secretary of State and the clerks administer elections here in Michigan, and candidates have the right, and even for issues that we have some referendums and ballot issues on this election, people have the right to stand out in front of the polling place and have signs and hand out buttons or pins and flyers. So look, you can park away from those groups and kind of walk around them. You can walk right through those groups. They have to be a certain distance from the voting place. But once you're inside the school or church or municipal building where you're casting your ballot, there's not going to be anyone from the outside in there. If there is, you should tell the election workers, the people there running the polls, let them know of any situation you encounter. If you're still not comfortable and you feel that if people got handsy with you or belligerent with you, I would contact local authorities.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know?
Well, I think as you heard from your last caller, go out. We encourage you to vote. It's your constitutional right. If you feel that you're a victim of election crime and your vote is not being protected, please contact local police, the Attorney General's office, the state police, or the FBI, and we would be pleased to talk to you.
Jim, I thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Khalil. Have a good weekend.
You too. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
As we continue to face COVID-19, we're now facing flu season. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Now more than ever, it's essential to protect yourself from influenza by getting the flu vaccine. The flu vaccine is safe and effective and can't give you the flu. To protect yourself and those at highest risk, get your flu vaccine. Learn more at michigan.gov/flu. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
Are your hands feeling numb? Do you feel pain opening up a jar, turning a key? Are you noticing that your elbow and your shoulder are becoming stiff? Or were you recently injured in your arm? Hello, I'm Dr. Albanjit Katranji, and at the Katranji Hand Center, which just recently opened down the street from the Somerset Mall, we can provide you with the latest in hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder care. Visit us at www.katranjihandcenter.com to learn the latest techniques that we have to offer you, and I look forward to taking care of you.
Visit us in Troy at 1565 West Big Beaver Road, Building F, or call Katranji Hand Center for an appointment at 248-869-4263. That's 248-869-4263.
Are you going to start a restaurant or a grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Najee Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Najee Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood, 734-744-9796.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem with the Michigan.com and US Arab Radio. We were discussing the election. This has been a lot more, if I may say, a lot more interesting election, and it is heating up. Midterm election is heating up. Normally, presidential election takes a lot more attention from the voters and from the public. This particular midterm election is, seems to be taking a lot more attention than usual. With us this morning is journalist and editor John Mulcahy. Good morning, John, and thank you for being with us.
Good morning, Khalil. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your taking the time to be with us on this morning. Again, this election seems to be a little bit more heating up, more than usual, as for a midterm election.
Yes, I think so, and that's probably it's probably because of the divisions in the country and so forth. And in thinking about what might happen or in this election, I think there's a couple things that are really significant. One is what will happen after the election. I know that Jocelyn, Benson said they've taken steps to prepare for any challenges and so forth, particularly any challenges that are irrational, unfounded, and so forth. But I still think that it's very significant that all three of the statewide Republican candidates for governor, secretary of state, and attorney general are adamant election deniers with regard to the 2020 election. And this to me could be an indication that regardless of the outcome, I mean, if their opposition wins, that they and whatever measures are put in place to, make sure that the true winners get to take office. Nonetheless, they can intentionally create a confusion, chaos, and develop this right-wing narrative that says that if only if they win is the election legitimate. And I think that's one significant thing that could come about that might set this election apart. The other thing, on a more positive note, are the 3 ballot issues. This is a chance for people, to directly affect the way the state is run, or directly affect the Constitution of the state of Michigan, and particularly the voting, the one on that would allow for early voting and for people. Well, that's one of the main features, and also the one that would protect abortion rights in Michigan and put this in the Constitution. If these are issues that are, I think, fundamental in dealing with fundamental democratic rights.
Sure.
And if they pass, and particularly if they pass with a significant majority, and right now the latest polls that I've seen show that they are, the people favor them.
Yeah.
If that happens, it will be a significant blow to the right wing, to right-wing politics, because they have those politics have emphasized trying to narrow the ability of people to vote, and they certainly have emphasized trying to narrow women's right to have an abortion. And I think that this kind of direct democracy will send a strong message and actually be a blow to the right wing. Not that I think it's going to solve all the problems in the world, but I think it could be very significant. And the third thing that I'd just like to mention is right now Michigan has 14 people in its congressional delegation, but in this election we'll only be electing 13 since we lost one place in Congress. But the other aspect of that is we've got new districts.
Sure.
And it'll just be interesting to see how that pans out. Who wins in what districts, and if there's sort of any change in the this time there's going to have to be one party or the other is going to have to have a majority. Right now it's evenly split, 7-7.
Sure.
Not that a shift, not that some small shift in the who has the majority of Congress people in the state is going to make a huge difference to the many issues that are facing people and the many problems that are facing people. But it will be interesting to see, especially since these new districts were drawn by the Citizens Commission in order to try to eliminate some of the gerrymandering that had gone on before. Yeah. So those are three things that I see.
Sure. You mentioned the lines. They did have really made some impact. For example, the district where Debbie Dingle is, she used to be mainly heavily Democratic area, and now they added other areas in the outskirts of Ann Arbor and other areas, they're not really Democratic, they're conservative areas. Mm-hmm. And this is why she shifted. Normally, for Debbie Dingle and for the Dingles campaign, once they win the primary, then the general election is really just, a good morning and for donuts and just waiting for the results. This time it's not. I mean, she can't really take chances. I mean, she's going to win, I think, but still there's a good number of her districts are conservative, and she's been spending time. She moved her office from Dearborn to Ann Arbor, so and she's been spending time in that area and campaigning in that area because things could just tip one way or the other. It's really interesting, some of these lines that were drawn, although correcting, but still they're going to make some impact on how election is being conducted and the outcome of the vote. We have one of the, I don't know if it is contentious or not, but seems to be closing the gaps on we have two main people running for governor, which is Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and then her challenger Tudor Dixon, who seems to be, I mean, the governor is up by like 10 points or 7 points, but you never know how that's going to really toss up. When I heard the first debate, it sounded to me like Tudor Dixon is still having a problem rallying her support, her base. She was speaking directly to her base instead of speaking to the state. I don't know. You had a chance to take a look at or to listen to the debate, but what are your thoughts?
Well, I did hear some of it. I don't know that I really, can speak to that or have an opinion on that as whether or not she's just trying to rally her base or not. I mean, I think the most significant thing with Tudor Dixon is her election denial, and this is I think so fundamental that it sort of overwhelms a lot of other things. So I mean, I think she's just a very extreme right-wing Republican, and that this is becoming the norm in the Republican Party.
It's unfortunate.
My opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I said that is that candidates, as you well know, you win election by focusing on the independent votes. This is what's going to tip it toward your toward your winning or not. I mean, Republicans are going to vote Republicans and Democrats are going to vote Democrats. If they all go out and vote, you would have to motivate them first, and then you're going to get those votes. I mean, Republicans they're not going to go vote for a Democratic candidate. That leaves you that third of the voters, which is independent. And if you don't appeal to those independents in general, the chances of winning elections are very slim. And I don't see her so far appealing to, I'm talking about Tudor Dixon, appealing to the independent votes and being inclusive in her message, instead of just being, the repeating the general and the normal Republican right-wing, campaigns and slogans.
Well, that may be the case, and so I guess it just draws into question what is the real goal or strategy of that whole section of the political body in the United States that has become essentially the Trumpist wing, or really the Trumpist party now. What used to be the Republican Party.
Absolutely.
What is their goal? Who are they? What do they want? Really?
Exactly. Former President Trump came to Michigan to rally support for Tudor Dixon, and as you're absolutely right. I see him traveling from state to state and trying to really drum up votes. On the governor race, the only two is traditionally the two of the major parties. Then we have from Libertarian, U.S. Taxpayers, Green, and Natural Law. And somebody asked me that, and everybody always asks me that. Why do these people field candidates? Is it for fundraising, for recognition? I mean, they're not going to make it.
Perhaps they just believe in what their position is, and I really can't say. I mean, if there were a genuine socialist candidate on the ticket, I would vote for that candidate. So why would I do that?
Yeah,
right. I mean, at least in current conditions, that person probably isn't going to win, but I would do it. I can't really speak to why people do it, other than it's their real political belief, and they need to be involved in that way.
Sure. The other important thing, I mean, as we go down, we have Secretary of State Joyce Benson, we have somebody, Christina, and others. Again, Democrats, Republicans. And then we have Attorney General, we have Dana Nessel, then Matthew DiPorno, I believe DiPorno, something like that. Yeah, DiPorno. And again, Democrats, Republicans. There seems to be a lot of people who vote straight party too. They just pick a straight party and ticket. And is it still available in Michigan?
It's still available, and I have voted straight party ticket many times. Yeah. And I think for me at least, it just has to do with political philosophy. And I just expect, I do think that, although I think that the two political parties the two major political parties are both parties of corporate America, and are nonetheless, I mean, political parties, I think, do represent a political outlook and a political mindset. And when I voted straight ticket for the Democrats, somewhat, reluctantly, because I didn't have much of other choice, I've done so because I just feel that overall that political outlook represents something closer to what I actually feel.
Absolutely. The other race I would like to bring listeners' attention to, and that is the Justice of the Supreme Court. Although on the ballot, it does not, say whether they're Democrats or Republicans, but the law allows both campaigns to, I don't know what's the word, endorse or nominate, nominate candidates. And for there are four people, and Justice Richard Bernstein is from the Democratic side, and then she's not a justice. She's Kay Harris Bolden is a Democratic state representative. She's also being nominated by the Democrats, and then by the Republicans, Supreme Court Justice Brian Zara, and then Paul Hudson is he's a Republican nominee for the Michigan Supreme Court. He chairs the appeals group at Miller Canfield Law Firm. So I think it's important that people know the background of the candidate they're voting for on the Supreme Court, the Michigan Supreme Court, that is, because these are the people who interpret the law. And unfortunately, when you take a look at the ballot, you don't know who they are. And I think you should know, since they are being, nominated by a party and they represent a certain thinking, because, Supreme Court decides what the law means. And, don't you think?
Yes. And I mean, I think it's something that people are always scrambling. Voters are always scrambling. The ones who are more or less aware of the situation. They're always scrambling to try and find out which one of these people, are associated with their party. And they, you have to go through, looking up various things. And I think it's just kind of I don't know, silliness isn't an adequate word, but, kind of a ruse almost that the justices don't run on a party ticket, when in fact they do associated with a party. It seems a bit it actually seems somewhat disingenuous that it's that way. I mean, the whole notion is that somehow justices shouldn't be beholden to a particular political persuasion, or unless they favor the people in that group. But in reality, they all have a political identity.
Yeah, absolutely. Jerry is on the line. Jerry, do you have questions? Good morning.
Yes, please. Good morning, Mr. Khalil Hachem. Thank you for taking my call, and good
You're
morning.
Welcome. Very quickly, Jerry.
To your guest, Mr. John. Yeah. Mr. John, my question is, what happened in the city of Dearborn a couple of weeks ago about the books, about the library, about the gender? There was a big issue at the city hall. My question to you, Mr. John, my question is this event will change or affect how the Arab American voters will vote on November 8th? Do you think the Arab American will think twice before they give their vote? Because that was a big issue about the school, about the gender, about the books, about that. I would love to hear your answer. Thank you again, and thank you, Mr. Khalil Hachem.
Appreciate it. I don't think, John, you're familiar with what happened.
I am aware of it. I did see something about it. I think I need to say here, I do not live in Dearborn, and I don't think I'm qualified to say whether it will particularly influence Arab American votes. This whole issue, again, is one that divides a lot of people and seems to be a
local issue for a specific purpose.
Yes, but I mean, this issue exists nationwide. The whole issue of banning books or not banning books and so forth. I'm for not banning books, but of any sort. But my apologies, but I just don't think I'm qualified to say whether or not it will particularly affect the Arab American vote.
Absolutely. And there has been no resolution on that, and there are local concerns about the access of certain books, and I'm sure that the district and the residents who have that concern will find a solution and solve that. What we're going to do, John, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, and seafood dinners. Plus, they offer big trays of your favorite food and so much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab is located at 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills and is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So stop in or call Kashat's today at 248-538-9552. That number again, 248-538-9552. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem with Michigan.com. We've been talking about the elections. John, I think what Jerry was really asking is, since the extreme right or the right wing of politicians have been championing the banning of books, and now this issue is in Dearborn, would the Arab American community abandon, the Democrats and vote for the right? I don't think so. I think this is an isolated issue that, the community is dealing with, and does not mean that the community is going to abandon, its the way it has voted, and then go with the conservative right to vote. It's not going to change the vote per se, but it will definitely, they will find a way to work with the district to find a solution to that. The one thing I've noticed, and I did take a look at several ballots in different states, there seems to be a lot more proposals on ballots these days than before, which shows me or tells me that people don't trust politicians in making decisions for them. Do you notice that, John?
Well, I don't. I don't have any statistics to back it up. I mean, there may be that more proposals these days. Through my life, there's often been proposals, ballot proposals, but there may be somewhat more now. I think you can't separate these local elections and these statewide elections from the greater picture, and the greater picture is that things ongoing, the contradictions within the whole system, and so I think perhaps ballot proposals are a way that people are attempting to. I don't know if it's because they don't trust politicians, although they may not. They don't see the political system solving their problems.
Absolutely.
I think that they don't see the system solving their problems, so they attempt to take it into their own hands, and solve it. I think that's true with the at least 2 of the proposals that we're dealing with.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very interesting. Overall, what are your thoughts about the election?
Well,
in closing.
In closing, I just think once again, I think that you can't just. I think you have to look at the whole picture of what's going on in the United States, and I just think it's important, and not just the United States, in the world, because it really is a totally international situation now, and realize that what you're doing here is connected to that. These people that we elect to Congress are, what are they going? How are they going to deal with inflation? My hunch is they won't deal with it, other than letting the Fed rate, send the country into recession rather than say raising taxes on the rich. But it is connected to the whole world, and the other issue, the other huge issue being the ongoing war in the Ukraine. So I don't think people should just think, oh, it's just about Michigan now and just about Michigan politics or whatever.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. John, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We really appreciate you for waking up in the morning to be with us. Thanks again. Absolutely.
Right. Thanks again, Khalil.
Absolutely.
Nice being with you.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank John Mulcahy, journalist and editor. Also thank Jim Barnacle from the FBI special agent, and thank Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson for being with us this morning. One thing I would like you to keep in mind is that I don't care who you vote for. I don't care what philosophy you have. This is America. You're free, but it's important to exercise your right to vote. Please go out and vote. Traditionally in our community, voting is very low. We hope to see that change. Your vote is your voice. You want your voice heard, go out and vote. You don't have to vote for anybody, okay? If you don't like anybody on the ballot, just go ahead and vote. Put a white ticket, like they say. At least go out and vote. Why is that important? Because if people are evaluating our community from the outside, whether they're going to give it attention or not politically, they're going to take a look at the voting record. In fact, I heard this recently on one of the national talk shows. They're talking about, the changes in Michigan. And they said, well, traditionally the Arab American community doesn't vote as much. We want that to change. Okay. We want good numbers. And again, it doesn't matter who you vote for. When it comes to voting for the person, it's important to vote for the right person for the job, regardless of, who he is, what his or her name is, and what their background is, what their color is. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Just vote for the right person. Voting, when you go out to vote, you're hiring the people to do your, to work for you and conduct business on your behalf, government business on your behalf. These are the people who are going to spend your money. These are the people who are going to take care of your government affairs. You're hiring these people. You're giving them jobs. These people are going to represent you. So know who you're voting for. It's very important. I got 1 minute left. And again, please go out and vote. Okay. 1 minute left. And I'm going to take an advantage of this to talk to you a little bit about the housing market. The housing market is still good for you to buy. Now prices are down and we have more homes on the market. Even though the interest rate is high, there are ways around that. If you're in the business to buy a home, this is the best time to do it right now this year, because it's important. It's important. We can negotiate. We can get the price down. We can get you a good deal. If you need help, give me a call, 313-819-0101, 313-819-0101. You may have a blessed week, a safe weekend, and good voting, safe voting, and please go out and vote. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody. Thank you, Mike, for great production, and goodbye.